Right, welcome back to another web development video where I show you how to make modern websites using HTML5, CSS3, and a little bit of JavaScript. In this video, I'm going to continue the web design process series, and this is going to be part number 2. If you missed part number 1, you can go back and find that in the playlist. In part 1, we covered the initial survey to the client. So you've got the job, you're ready to begin, but now you need more details about the project itself and how to proceed with the design process. So we have some survey questions here. And in these survey questions, we got a little bit more detail and information about site structure, what the goals of the website are, what do they perceive to be the user goals, who are the users that we're designing for, and just generally what is the project about. And then some metrics. How do we know if the site is successful? And what are users going to be able to do when they get to the website? So that gives us a little bit more detail about what the expectations are to provide for users to do activities, interactions, things like that. So there's not a ton of information here, so we're going to have to the sitemap is what we're going to talk about today, but the sitemap is a communication tool. It's a way for us to put something down and say, this is what I hear you saying. Is this what you're saying? So the person moves from this place to this place. They move from this place to this place. They have access to this from here, but not from here. So there are a lot of things that we're sort of trying to flesh out, but this is a conversation. It shouldn't be a finished piece. It should be the beginning of the conversation with the client. So when you put a sitemap together, you should bring it to the client when you're finished and say, okay, let's sit down and take a look at this together, or some way that you can explain it to them, even if it's sharing on a screen or doing video conferencing. You need to be able to walk them through what is it going to look like when a user comes to the website. They're going to be able to click and go here. They're going to be able to click and go here. They're going to have these choices once they get to this top level page, and these are how we're going to move deeper into the website. One of the things that we need to always be thinking about, especially with a business website, is a funnel. So you're always in a funnel these days when you're online. A blog is a type of getting people into a funnel. An FAQ is a way of getting you into a funnel. A homepage is the top level of a funnel for most businesses. And what that does is collects people, and as they journey through the website, as they go down the funnel, they are answering questions. So you want them to answer, are you this type of person? Yes. Okay. Do you want this type of product? Yes. Okay. Do you want it in this color? Do you want to be a part of our community? Whatever the questions are, you're asking questions to the user, and at each affirmative answer, they are moving deeper into the funnel until they get to a decision point. And when they make that decision point, or when they make that decision, then you're said to have reached sort of your funnel goals. So for many businesses, purchasing a product online is a goal. That's the end of the funnel for most people, or at least the end of that funnel, and then they move into another funnel, which is a shopping cart or a purchasing funnel. But a decision funnel is just, let's give you the information that you need in order to make a decision, yes or no, about this particular product. Or maybe a decision is not now, which is okay too. But we're always trying to get people to funnel down to making some sort of decision about you, about your product, about your services, whatever it is. And so we need to build that into our sitemaps as well. As we move through the user journey, through the sitemap, the user is being confronted with, we can give you more information, but the information is trying to narrow you down to make a decision. So some of those funnels are shallower, like they don't have as many layers of depth, but some are very deep because you're talking about making a large scale decision like buying a car or getting a mortgage or whatever it is. But some are just, do you want to join our community? That's a pretty, that's not a very deep funnel because the commitment level on the other side of making that decision is not very large or taxing. So So we have our questions here, and I'm going to use Adobe XD, um, and that's going to be our prototyping tool. This is what we use at my workplace, so I'm comfortable using XD. It comes with the Creative Cloud subscription, so if you have that, you have XD, and I think you can download it and try it for free. If not, use a pen and paper, use a sketchbook, use a pencil and a piece of scrap paper. It doesn't really matter. You can use a whiteboard. You can do this live with a client. You can write it, take a photo of it, email it. Like, there are lots of different ways that you can handle a sitemap. It's just boxes and lines, but I find that for clarity's sake, doing this part with straight lines can really help. It can help the client to be able to understand what's going on a little bit better. It also makes it probably easier to email and to deal with. So we have our artboard here. All we need for this sitemap is really just some boxes with text in them. So the first page is always going to be the home page. So even if people are going to enter the website through another way, like let's say you're going to share landing pages, or you're going to share your top level pages directly, the links to them on social media or whatever it is, even if you're going to do that, the home page should always be thought of as the main page, because that's the page that most people are going to find through search and things like that. So that's going to be your high ranking page. That's your root level domain. So it's whatever.com, not whatever.com / something else. That's always going to be your home page. So your home page should be like, well, for different projects, it's going to be doing different things. For our project, it's going to be like a big room with a receptionist in there. So you walk into the room, you're a particular kind of person looking for a particular kind of service. You ask the desk, I am, let's say for our example, I'm a parent and I'm looking for stickers. I was told to come here. And that, through our navigation, through our site structure, our person at the front desk is going to say, okay, parents, to the back left, that's your section. That's what you're looking for. Another person comes in and says, oh, well, I'm a teacher and I'm looking for some resources for my class. And then our information purpose person says, oh, okay, well, your door is in the back left or the back right, and that's going to be a place for you. And it's going to speak to your needs. It's going to help you to make a decision about our products. And then another person comes in and says, oh, well, I'm a retailer and I'm looking for a new product for my store. We really want to have stickers, and I heard about you, so where do I go for that? And the person is going to say, okay, the front left door over there is for you, and we have some more information that'll help you to make the decision about our products. And then maybe people will come in and they're just generally looking for stickers. They're not anybody. They don't know exactly what they're looking for or who they are. They're just walking in the door. And then that person, it needs to be able to say, well, you feel free to look around. We have several different places that you can look. Look at the doors and see there might be something of interest to you. Or if you just want to go straight to our sticker section, you can just walk straight back and you can get to browse all of our stickers. So that's sort of the idea that we're taking with our homepage on this particular project. So we need to be able to hit all of those different demographics and help them get to specific places. We also need to be able to allow just some general person coming in off the street or doing a search for generally stickers, not for any particular purpose, to be able to make a decision as well. So we have our home page. That was a lot to say. We have a home page, and then we're going to take this and we're going to copy it down like this, and our primary demographic is going to be parents. Our secondary demographic is going to be teachers, and then tertiary demographic is probably going to be crafters and then we might get some retailer traffic as well. So it's hard to tell necessarily whether these are going to be the third or fourth most important ones, but almost guaranteed these are the first two. So that's what we're getting from the client. That's what we're hearing from the client. And where am I getting that? I'm getting it through the data that we collected here. So describe the profiles of the users. So we have parents, we have teachers, like church teachers, journalers, people who are doing journaling with their Bible, or with a group of people, or doing crafts, and then retailers. So hopefully the client is taking the time, and you can double check with them. Is this a list of the demographics in hierarchy or priority? So is this number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4? Because that'll help us in the hierarchy of the page. We want to be able to hit our primary demographic at the top, because we don't want them to have to waste a bunch of time reading a bunch of stuff that they may not ever get to. So if your primary demographic is parents, but all your parent stuff is at the bottom of a long page, you're going to miss a bunch of people, because they're going to look at the top of the page and say, well, this is for retailers, this isn't for me, I don't know why I was sent here. So you don't want to confuse your primary audience. You want them to be able to say, oh, this is for me, and then be able to move on and take the next step. So we're actually using our data that we've collected in order to put together the structure of the page. This is really important. And for me, I think that there are two other audiences. And one audience is going to be, there should be a page just for the stickers, and then there should be a page just for the activity books. So even if you're not one of these, or if you are one of these primary categories and you just want to get right to it, maybe you've been there before and you don't want to have to go through some big long funnel before you get to the ability to see the stickers in the books. I think that you should provide some way for them to get right to the purchasing option, which is in these pages. That's where you're going to have the purchasing option. And I don't believe that we should have necessarily the purchasing option here. These are sort of marketing and helping to get these people through the process to make a decision. So one of the things that happened when I was sort of staging this before, going through this before, was I realized that I want all of these pages to be connected to the home page and connected to each other. This is going to be basically our primary navigation. But I also want these to be accessible through the home page as well, and through all of these pages here too. These, however, are sort of decision time sort of pages. So it's going to display all of our product. It's going to have a link off to a place where you can actually purchase the product. And then that gets you into a whole new funnel, which is a purchasing funnel. But once you made the decision to click off here and go to the main purchasing website, where you can actually use the cart and put it in your cart and get more, like actually make the purchase, then basically you're done with this site. You've already made the decision to go and to get into the purchasing funnel. So that is a different website, at least for this project. So we're just trying to get people over there so that now they get into our purchasing funnel, and then they have to make a choice about purchasing. So to me, it makes more sense to put these down here as sort of an entry, and then everything is flowing this way toward these two pages. And we're still going to connect them to our home page coming out this way, but all of these pages are also going to be connected to these two pages. And so how do we show connection in a sitemap? Well, we show it this way with lines. And so if you've ever seen a sitemap diagram, you'll recognize these lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to have just a vertical line here from home. And basically what this line does, it's going to connect the home page to all of these other top level pages here. sometimes you get this little funny gap here. So even though you can see that it's connected to this one up here, if you click on the different cap, it'll actually connect the two together. So it's stopping it short of the, before it was stopping it short of this dot, and now it's pushing all the way through to the other side of the dot. This is a little technical nothing. So now we're going to connect these two, and let's go through it, and we'll just make sure that we connect all of these like this. Okay. Yeah. And what this means, oh, wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay. Still going. All right, there we go. So what we're doing is we're starting from the home page. And from the home page, you can go to the parents page, you can go to the teachers page, you can go to the crafters, or you can go to the retailers page. And from retailers, you can be connected to crafters, or you can be connected to parents, or you can be connected back to the home page. So this is sort of our main navigation layout, and it's connecting all of our pages together. So we're going to have all of these four navigation items at the top or somewhere on each subpage. So not only will it be on the home page so you can get to them all, but it's also they're going to be connected to the parents page. If you did not want to connect the parents page, you wanted the parents page to be connected to the home page, but not to all the other pages, you would simply create a link directly to the parents page, but then you know, this would be like a link that comes down and connects the home to all of these, as opposed to connecting all these together. There's just one link here, and then you need to create another line that comes down and connects all of these pages together. So that's how you would do, if you wanted to separate one page out, you would need to do that. And just make it a separate link where it's only an individual link to the home page or to some other page, which we'll run into in a minute. Okay, and I told you that we wanted to also have a connection to these two pages from the home page. So I'm going to copy this over. Make sure it's centered like that. And sure it's centered there. We need a vertical line. This. So now you can see that there's a connection from the home page straight to the books, and then we also need one for the stickers. So the home page is going to connect to the stickers, and the home page is going to connect to the books. We could also connect these two things together if we wanted to. I'm not sure that we should do that necessarily. That would be something maybe that we want to make sure that we ask the client about. Okay, so someone's on the sticker page and they're looking at our stickers. Do you also want to have a link to the books page? So maybe the sticker, a grid of stickers gets broken up by a call to action that says, we also sell activity books. If you're interested, here's a link. And then you're connecting those two pages together. So that's something really, like I said, this is a conversation starter. And you want to work all those things out as much as you can before you get to the design phase. That way you can build in all of these connections once you begin doing the wireframes in the design process. So we have all of our books and our stickers connected to the home. We'll connect those two pages soon, just not right now. Let's think about our primary target audience here, which is our parents. And so what do we want parents to be able to do? We want parents to be able to to do something that makes sense. So we're getting free content like downloads and articles and activities. They get a full understanding of the stickers and the books, and so that would be like our top level stickers and books pages. And seeing the inside, like seeing the product themselves. So that's something that's going to probably be handled on those last pages before they make a decision. But we have parents get valuable free content, understanding of the brand, and the idea is that the content is going to be provided by these static articles and activities and how-tos. So we've had discussions with the client, and we're going to be able to do that. We're going to be able to do that and provide those for particular groups. Now, who needs to have that? That's the question. Parents make sense. Teachers make sense to be able to have activities, right? But it doesn't necessarily make sense for crafters to be able to have access to the activities pages, or necessarily for retailers, because they're wanting to sell the product, not engage in interactive types of things with the stickers themselves. So to me, these two should be left out of the activity package. So we're going to have activities like this. And then what we want to do is we want to just put them maybe here in between the teachers and the parents. And the reason that we're doing this is so that we can come down and connect these two like this, and then each of those groups will be connected this way. Come on. For some reason, oh, there it is. My hand tool wasn't working very well. So because parents and teachers both need to have access to this activities page, the activities page is going to list the activities that are available either for download or as individual pages themselves. And then we need to have from this activities page, it's similar to going to a blog where you have a listing of blog posts, and then once you click into it, then you're in the actual blog post page itself. We're going to have a similar structure here. Actually, let's go ahead and clip this top 1, 2, just keep some consistency. And then each of these is going to represent an activity. And the way that we show multiple pages is if we just copy and paste that like that, and let's do one more. Like this. We can shrink that down so that it just is the right size, doesn't stick out too much from our sides here. But essentially, from this activities page, there'll be multiple links. Anytime you click one of those links, it'll go to an activity page. So rather than have 30 pages listed here, we can sort of stack them like this. And the assumption is when you're talking to the client, you're at an activities page. When you choose an activity, then you're going to go down to the activities here. These are sort of all on the same level. And rather than spreading them all out here on the same level of the hierarchy, we could just stack them, which makes our diagram a little bit neater. A little easier to digest as well. Okay, for crafters, I don't think there are any calls to action necessarily, other than get right to the stickers and books. For retailers, I can imagine there being some sort of a retailer contact. So something like that. And this here doesn't need to be there. Move this up. Okay. So from the retailers page, maybe their call to action really needs to be that there's a retailer contact page. We're also going to connect the retailers to the books and the stickers. So all of these top level pages are going to have access to the books and the stickers pages. So let's go ahead and create that now. Let's bring our line down like this, and we're going to bring it actually underneath. We can bring it here if we wanted to, shorten that line. And then we go through and we connect the books and the stickers. That's not what I want to do. Let's bring it like this. We're just going to make it super clear about what we're doing. So we come down here and bring our line up to meet. And bring this over here. Like that. And then now we just need to connect these to our line here. And you can do that a couple different ways. Just bring that up like this. And if you're concerned about how fast I'm moving, like I said, we've been using this for production websites at my workplace, and so I've gotten pretty good at just knowing some of the shortcuts and working between the mouse and the keyboard to be able to move through pretty quickly with these things. So let's come down, and then so now crafters goes over to both stickers and books, so it's connected to both. Retailers, you can go straight from the retailers page to the books and crafts. This is going to be sort of a dead end because we want, once they get to the contact page, we want them to be able to be focused on submitting that contact. So whether we're sending them to the regular website, like the same website we're going to send everybody to make the purchase. So whether we're using that contact or creating our own, we want them to be laser focused when they get there. Okay, you made a decision to send us information or to contact us somehow. So we're going to provide you that information, and we want you to stay focused. We don't want you to be looking off to links to other parts of the website. This is the place that we tried to funnel them down to. So this is their point of decision making. You do not want to distract them from the point of decision making because they've already made the decision to get to the last place. If they want to backtrack, there will be these top level ways for them to backtrack, but you don't want to provide flashy buttons or colors or anything else that doesn't move them toward sending contact information or calling you or doing whatever is necessary to be able to get a hold of you, because that's where you need them to be to begin the next process, which is how can we get together and make this deal happen. For crafters, you know, they're going to go and purchase the stickers. That's their next part of the funnel. So that's over here. For parents and teachers, they're sort of getting into one funnel here with the activities. And from the activities pages, maybe you want to provide a link to get them into the books and the stickers. That's something, again, that you would need to talk to the client about, but I couldn't imagine that they'd want you to do an activity and then not have some way for them to engage with the stickers themselves. So they're going to need some way to do that. And let's do a couple more. We also want a way for teachers to be able to get straight to the books and stickers. And we also want a way for parents to get directly to the books and stickers. So when we look at our diagram here, most people are going to start on our home page, and they're going to have access to the books page and the stickers pages. So these are activity books. They can also have access to the parents, teachers, crafters, and retailers page. So if they are someone specific, then they can go off into the section that they need to go off into. They can also navigate easily between these top level pages. That shouldn't be difficult. The parents and teachers would both have access to the activities page, which is sort of like a blog page with multiple activities on it. Excuse me. And then from there, when they click a link, it would go to an individual activity. The crafters, they don't really have they're being sold here, and then their primary action is going to be, do you want to look at books or stickers? Okay, so there's not really anything for them other than we want to sort of move them through, sell them on our books and stickers, and then here you go purchase them. And then for retailers, these are people who want to purchase our stickers wholesale or our books wholesale and then sell them at retail in their stores. So it requires a different message to them. And essentially they could go and buy our stickers, but realistically we want them to contact us and create a business relationship. We just want them to be aware that we can create a business relationship with you. You're not just buying our stickers retail to use for your kids, so that option is also available. And then each of these also has access to the books and stickers page. So to me, based on what I've seen from the client and what they've provided for us, this looks like a good sitemap, and it might feel a little bit confusing, but hopefully you can understand why these two are sort of separated off from the rest of these sections, because these are really your key parts of the funnel. So as you come down here, everything is funneling this way. Everything is coming down to the books and the stickers, and if it were visualized, it would be visualized like this. So for our purposes, we might have to do that. But essentially, all of these top level pages are being funneled down this way. And then each of these top level pages is also its own funnel, right? So you can see it here with the parents and teachers. That you start here and then you start funneling people down, and eventually the tip of your funnel is here. So like the tip of the funnel, as you lose people or drop people, all these people down here in the funnel, so all the people in this part of the funnel have been qualified. A lot of people entered, only a few people are going to exit, and these are the people who are going to make it here, exit off the page, and go buy some stickers. Now hopefully this is a big group of people and not one or two. And per our site goals, we want this to be a pretty solid trickle. So we want this to be a flow of people who are coming in from the top of the page. They're making their way down through the pages to this decision process, and then moving from this decision process over to the purchasing funnel, which is a little bit different than just a marketing funnel. So now you have to make it easy for them to make the purchase once they've decided this is something I'm interested in enough to click off and go make a purchase. So this is the tip of our funnel. We want this to be as many people as we can possibly get. Typically, you can see because of the shape of the funnel, if you want this to be 10 people, you need this to be exponentially larger. If you want this to be 1,000 people, this is going to be a really large number. So you're going to have to begin attracting people to the top of your funnel, to your home page, or to your top level pages to get them into the funnel. Because people can enter here, or people can enter up here, or people can enter all the way down here. You could direct them straight to the books and stickers and push people to the bottom of the funnel, but they haven't been sold. You're just sort of getting them right to the decision-making process, and that may or may not be cool for some people. So you can push people to different parts of the funnel, and it's true, you have less distance to go, but you also have less distance to sort of convince or persuade them that this was what they want. But if someone came into the funnel and left here, let's say they came to your home page, they went to this page, and then they left off the site, a week later, they come back to the home page. They don't necessarily need to go here anymore unless they want to get to maybe some of these activities. But they definitely could go straight here because maybe they've looked at it, they were sold here, it just wasn't the right time for them to buy. But when they come back the next time, you give them access and they're like, okay, I'm in a purchasing mode. I've talked to whoever I need to talk to, and now I'm just going to go and make the purchase and be done. So you don't necessarily know all the user journeys. You don't know how people are going to enter into the website. So at every point, you need to make sure that if the user comes in here, or if someone shares an activity and comes in here, that they can always get back to the activities, or they can get to the stickers and the books. You want them to be able to get to the places they need to go in the website from wherever they enter. This page here is sort of a dead end. It's probably not going to be shared or anything, but maybe retailers would come back to the retailer page and they would have access to these, and they would have access to this contact form. So you want to make sure you get them into the places you want them to go, depending on where they come into the website. Don't dead end somebody just because they came in a sub page and not the home page. It's really good to provide multiple calls to action, multiple ways to get to different parts of the building, so to speak, but only to the parts that you want them to go. So it's sort of a balance. And these are all, again, based on the data, based on the user data given us by the client themselves. So we're not making up these journeys. The client is saying, this is where we want the people to go. These are the decisions that we want the client to make, because that is our business goal, is to make a sale or to get them into the sales funnel or to the purchasing funnel. And so this site needs to help get people primed and into the purchasing funnel. And then from there, we have a whole different system or setup for the purchasing funnel. And we'll just have to try to move them through that purchasing process. But this site, the goal is to get them from here to there. And so you need to figure out, based on what user goals, so thinking about yourself as a user, asking users if you have the time. Hopefully the client knows their user base in such a way that they can say, based on historical data, based on things that we've done, talking to our clients or whatever, these are the sorts of things that we need to highlight or talk about, or this is a sort of pathway for them. So hopefully this has been enlightening and interesting. I'll show you one more time what we have here. And hopefully this has been just sort of an enlightening process for you. I'm talking a lot. It shouldn't take you this long in order to process this and do this. But it might take you a little bit of time just because maybe if you're doing it for the first time or you're not quite sure, hopefully talking about the process of why putting things here, talking about the actual technical, we're using boxes and lines and how do you connect them. Hopefully that's been helpful as well. But also just how to think through the user journey in the sitemap. Now you can do actual user journeys where you write it out and you do all that kind of stuff. I grew up before we started doing those types of things necessarily. We were just doing relatively simple projects like this in the 90s. And so this is how I learned to do sitemaps. But we were always thinking about the user journey. So that's just actual user journeys have been an expansion of what we were doing a long time ago. So if you want to do those actual user journeys, that might actually help the client to understand what's going on here. You might need to provide that if you're remote and you don't have a chance to sort of explain what this sitemap means. Someone has to take it and understand it for themselves. So you're not there to explain it for them. If that's the case, then you might need to write those things out and or maybe to show them each journey for each person and how that was. So you would highlight, the journey for parents, through the process, and that would be on its own page. And then you would also have how does this all fit together as well. So this is a way for you to communicate complex, abstract process to someone who is not in your head. So as much as you can do to help them understand that, you should do that. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed, click subscribe and then click the little bell, and you'll be notified of every time I upload a new video to my channel. And I've got lots of different videos, so if you're entering in this and you want something a little bit different, just check out my playlists and the videos that I've put up. I have over 200 videos on my channel dealing with some basic, some intermediate web design. So be sure to check out those videos and go through them. I appreciate you watching, listening, tuning in. If you share it, that would be awesome. The easiest way to pay it forward for me is to click the thumbs up, and that lets YouTube know that this is quality content that's helping people. And so that helps me as well. All right. This is a series that will continue forward, and it's going to be kind of a long series, but hopefully not too long. I can see that we're making a little progress here day by day. And if you haven't watched video number 1, part 1, go back and watch that. It's in the playlist. I don't know when the next one will come out, but soon, probably, hopefully. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.